Hey, and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. Are we in the Ruby Tuesday? No, we're not. Hi, and welcome back to the best thing you watched this week. Chris is there laughing his head off from Movies and Munchies. I am getting my brain on. Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. Welcome to another week of poo. Let's talk about who won the competition last week. Let's just get into it.
Week of poo?
A week of poo.
We'll explain that in a minute.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. All right. So let's see. Yes. The answers for last week's movie quote quiz. First one stumped everybody. Stumped me also. And that was Lawrence of Arabia. The second quote came from Batman with Jack Nicholson. And the third one, which I think everybody got this one. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. The Princess Bride. So
Yes.
On mine, nobody got it all the way through, but Vera Morris was the first one to get 2/3 of it right. Then Elijah of those
Talbot?
is wrong. That Elijah Talbot, yep, and then Nostromo. I had written down the name wrong, so yes.
Okay. Well, Elijah Talbot, I've
congratulations,
noticed, keeps coming back. Soon I'm wondering if Elijah and Nostromo are going to have a little rivalry.
There.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Great. Like, I was surprised. I wasn't surprised nobody didn't get the first one, but the second and third, I'm happy. And they're always fun. So if it's okay, I'll dive into this week's.
Yes, please. I hope I can get them.
Okay, so once again, I will do the quote with a missing word, and then if you just give me the nod to do the full one.
Okay.
I love something. I eat it for breakfast. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. I love something. I eat it for breakfast. Wait, let me look at the camera when I say that. I love something. I eat it for breakfast.
Oh man. Okay. So from the visual clues, especially if you're listening just on the audio portion, the hand shaking by the face, that kind of gives me a big clue.
Gives you a clue as to who it might be.
Who? Yes, but I can't place the quote.
Okay, so I love pressure. I eat it for breakfast.
Yes. Okay.
Right. Okay, now
Nice.
you go. I knew that one word was the one.
That's key. It really is.
It is. It really is key. Okay, number 2. Dudded up, egg-sucking gutter trash. Gutted up, egg-sucking gutter trash?
I don't know that one, but I like it.
Okay. Nobody calls me mad dog, especially not some dudded up, egg-sucking gutter trash.
Yeah, no, that didn't help, but I still like it.
Try once more with a deeper voice. Nobody calls me mad dog, especially not some dudded up, egg-sucking gutter trash. Still doesn't get it.
While entertaining did not help.
Okay. Ready for the third one?
Yes.
Okay. The reason my arm's like this is because I'm holding up the card next to the camera, so I'm actually looking at people.
So you can be in character, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Cargo plane full of rubber dog shit.
I think I know that one.
You think you got it? All right, I'm going to leave that one
one
because it's a tricky one, but people should know it.
Okay.
Or do you want the full?
All right. Yeah, go ahead and give it just for fairness for everybody else too.
Okay.
For fairness, I'm really wanting it just to see if I have.
If you screw up this much, you'll be flying cargo plane full of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong.
Oh, see now, yep, that changed what I thought it was. Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, nice. All
Cool.
right.
So let us know in the comments below if you get all 3. We will mention your name in next week's podcast. Chris.
Yes. Okay, so here's my question. You know, when the Blair Witch Project first came out, I mean, it was this, it just took over like everything because social media was just beginning. But
I'm so scared right now.
Yeah. So let me ask you though, did you believe that it was a true story?
No. Why would I?
Oh, no? No? Like even from just the initial marketing and stuff like that? No?
Oh, no, that was never really a thing here. People just went to the movies to watch a scary movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, did that mess up your question?
No, I just find it interesting. I mean, I remember when it first came out, like me going online to try and research, is this real? Did this really happen? Because it was.
What was the marketing like then for you guys?
Gosh, it was. I mean, obviously the commercials. You know what I mean? And you had the found footage, but it would also just be like it was the mysterious, almost like it came across as documentary.
All right.
Like that it's,
okay. Yeah.
This truly was found footage, and we're showing this to you now. And
I'm not sure, but I think I might have come late to the game on it. Like, yeah, so I might have missed the marketing, and it was more like word of mouth. You got to see this film. It's pretty weird. It's a handheld camera thing. And I'm like, all right. And it was, at the time, it was like, damn, this is scary, because it didn't feel like a film. It just felt like someone with a camera in the woods, and there was no skill involved in shooting. It was like, stop and start. Like, oh, I'm just stuck in the trees, and I'm lost in this. I have snot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I love that if you weren't paying attention, the movie was stupid. But if you were paying attention to the dialogue, when we get to that end scene, it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah, because they're revealing bits of the story of the lore that had happened. Yeah, actually really well thought out, yeah. Yeah,
we went to an aquarium several years ago, and we were watching all the penguins, and standing off in the corner, facing the corner, was a penguin, just sitting there unmoving. No. And I'm like, okay, we got to go.
Wow.
But... oh, man. All right. Well, so let us know. Hey, also in the comments, did you see Blair Witch when it had first come out, the original one? Did you think it was real? Did you know off the bat that, no, this is just a stupid movie? Or did you actually buy into what they were selling? So let us know. Either way, that'd be fun.
Trivia news for you about the Blair Witch. It cost $600,000 to make. That was the production budget. Yeah. So it's more expensive than I thought. But... it made $248 million worldwide.
Which, that's not surprising, but the cost of production, that's pretty surprising.
I don't think that was the cost of the movie. It's probably marketing.
Marketing, yeah. Well, because think about Primer, which is, what, $7,000 or $14,000? I mean, it's ridiculously low. And... crazy movie. I mean, what they were able to do with such little money. And that actually goes to just point out that you don't need the massive budget. You need the compelling story.
So this is the Blair Witch Project, right? The one in 1999. Not Blair Witch Project. I always get confused. Because I know there's a sequel as well, which was not great.
Yeah, no, the first one, the initial one, yes.
Yeah.
So if it's,
found footage, horror. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there is one, see, that confuses me. There is one.
I don't know what.
I'm going off on a tangent, but it says Blair Witch Project versus Blair Witch.
I think Blair Witch is later.
I think Blair Witch in 2016.
Yeah.
So did they remake it then?
Maybe. Revisited it. I don't know. Reboot, spin-off, sequel, requel. I don't know.
Just ignore
Probably
me. I went off on a tangent. Yeah.
No, that's what we do here. Oh, okay. So Ruben teased at the beginning the week of poo. So we need to at least give some context there. We have been struggling this week. I mean, this is called the best thing we watched this week.
Yeah.
And there was not a lot. I mean, I was disappointed with so many things that I watched, and I knew you were too. So should we dive into the things that did bubble up to the top? And
I guess. But I do have a question for you first, Chris.
Yeah.
Was the 1,200 views that you got from Partner Track worth watching all those episodes for? Because I tapped out at the end of episode 1. I was like, no, I refuse. I like my life.
Yeah, okay. So Yeah, so I sold my soul basically to that. It was, yeah, it's 10 episodes. I mean, and they're each like 45 minutes long. So there's nothing quick about this.
No.
It is soapy. It is predictable. It's cringy at times. I mean, when you and I were chatting back and forth, you had, angsty teen show that happens to feature adults.
Right? What?
Yeah.
Lawyers don't act like this. They don't.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure regular people act like this either. Here's the thing, though, that I got sucked into bad TV. I mean, I did. I was engaged in it despite not wanting to be.
I think I could forgive you if it was like that program off in beautiful surroundings and there's like Mr. Darcy on his horse. Like I sort of get that. We watched that. We have the guilty pleasure of watching that one series on Netflix, right? What's that called?
Virgin River?
Yes, Virgin River. Yeah, like totally cheesy, totally cringy, but there's parts of it like I kind of want to live their lifestyle. They seem to have like the worst things they need to deal with is like somebody, being slightly ill on their farms with amazing sunsets and views. I can handle that.
Sure.
But Ally McBeal wannabe lawyers in teen dialogue, I draw the line.
Yeah, no, it's it's not good TV. I'm throwing that out there. It's not. But I cannot. I got sucked into the melodrama.
But there must be a reason why they keep greenlighting this. Is because people do get sucked into the melodrama. So before you know it, you're like, I kind of need to know what happens now. Damn it.
Even though I know what's going to happen, I mean, it's very obvious.
Still watching. They got you. They hooked you, Chris.
They did. And that's, and that happens to me on a lot of different things. Like I will watch something and knowing that it's like, this is not really good. This is bordering on terrible. And yet I'm like, well, but I'm there's some kind of weird enjoyment coming from it, the characters are not relatable. They're uber rich and they're very privileged, and then they live in this bubble world that nobody else really lives in.
No,
and I don't even watch this as one of those. Sometimes you get those where it becomes the escapism where you kind of. Oh, I could imagine myself living in that, or maybe I would want to visit that world. Yeah, none of that. Their lifestyle did not make, like, there was zero, like, ooh, I like that. That makes me want to be part of this. No, it was nothing about that was attractive to me. But yet, the drama and the overacting in parts and the serialness of what was going on, of the situations. I mean, it was very formulaic. And
because there's another.
It's everything.
Carry on. It's everything.
It's everything that I hate about American TV in an American TV show that I got sucked into.
Right.
Yeah.
There's another series. I'm trying to think about fashion that has very similar tone to it. That's on Netflix. It's got 2 seasons, and she gets drafted from. Emily in Paris? I think that's it.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it, but yeah,
she gets drafted from America, and there's relationship issues, and it ends up being more about the relationships than it does the actual work. And then one of the jokes I said to you when we were talking about it is, when do they work? Because there's no lawyering going on. There's no actual fashion going on. It's just coffees and funny, weird meetings in between the snogs of random people. Who do I choose out of these model-looking people?
Yes.
Anyway, now that I've gotten you on that rant, should we talk about what actually managed to make it to the best things we watch? What made it on your list, Chris?
Because we were talking off air, I'm really glad that you mentioned this, because for whatever reason, I guess maybe it had been blacked out by all the other bad stuff that I had watched during the week, but House of the Dragon on HBO. The first episode dropped, and this is on your list too.
It is. Yeah.
So I was really re-engaged with the series, and I had a lot of fun with it. What did you think about it?
Yeah, while watching it, I was like, I kind of remember why I was so into Game of Thrones now. It's like, because we've had this conversation about how we feel about season 8, and there's so many things we can go in about Game of Thrones. I had real trepidation about, because as far as I'm aware, this is not based on actual story. I know it's a Throne of Glass and Fire or something. Which one is it?
Ice and Fire?
Ice and Fire. So leading up to it, or there's lore that they pull from, but there's no actual, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong. I'm often wrong. I make mistakes, Chris, just so you know. I'm not perfect.
No, not allowed. Not allowed.
But while I was watching, I was like, yeah, this has the tone and feeling of the season 1. I kept kind of comparing that episode 1 when we got involved with the Starks and who we were enjoying being a part of, who we were rooting for already in episode 1. And then we get that just devastating moment from the characters that I just feel so sad whenever I see this actor's name mentioned in the series. I know he's gonna die because he's in the series. You know, he has that. Yeah. There's so many series and movies where he's just like, oh, he's in it, he's gonna die. Oh no.
Yeah.
But I did wonder. I wondered to myself, like, but this is coming from the side of where we know these people are technically the bad guys in the future. So how am I going to relate to these guys? But amazingly, they did that. So by the time we get to the end, I'm worried for the future of our new would-be ruler, who is young, who now has the weight of the throne on her shoulders. But not just that, with that little speech her father gives her, the weight of the future of what is coming. And we know, so we're like, oh crap. But we also know it all goes wrong, because when we start Game of Thrones season 1, there is no peace. There is no alliance. Everybody is all over the place, and there's just ruled by a dictatorship, really. So it's interesting for us to see how they're going to get there, like introducing the gold cloaks, like where those colors come from, who is what in this family. When we hear the certain names of the families, we kind of went, yeah, I know that name. Hang on a minute. There were moments like that was great. We had the gore. I was like, oh, that's brutal. The pregnancy, my word. The fighting was gory, but the pregnancy, I saw a tweet this week go out about they tested that particular scene with loads of women to ask them how bad it was and if it was okay to have in there. Ultimately, they ended it up with it in the episode. So, great. Also, can I just say how nice it is to have an hour of TV compared to 21 minutes of the Hulk episode 2? Just saying, 21 minutes, 20 freaking 1 minutes. Anyway, what did you think of the episode?
Okay, so like you, it reinvigorated. Like it made me remember why I really was initially just absolutely in love with Game of Thrones. You have the political schemings that are going on. I mean, even in this first episode, you see like the mental chess match start to happen. You know, not only between just the Targaryens and the sister who is the queen who almost was, or the not quite queen, or whatever they called her. But you have the Hand, the Hightower, and him. Rhys Evans, he's doing great. Yeah. How disgusting is that? Which, well, I'm not going to get into spoilers, maybe, but just his actions. And what he does, he sends somebody to do something, and it's like, dude, seriously, that's gross. And yet it shows that power and the pursuit of power is so much more important to him than a relationship.
But not even that. It just shows, what I got from it was that women generally in this time were part of your package. Things. Yeah, your property. Things that you use to maneuver around with. Which is why the episode 1 ending was so much more worthwhile, prominent, and I'm sure people were saying woke. My response to that is jog on. Yeah, exactly that. But I'm so looking forward to building relationships with some of those characters, because strangely enough, my favorite character was one that had the least amount of dialogue. The daughter's bodyguard, the guy that looks after her, that is everywhere. I'm trying to think of his name. Yeah. He was fantastic. I just thought he had
Hamish,
so much. Yes, Hamish McTavish. Like I love him acting anyway. Like he's brilliant, but the presence he brings, as you just know, like if he ever or when he does take out that sword, you know it's going to be brutal and quick and swift. And talking about that, there's a moment in The Throne when Matt Smith, brilliant. Like I already hate him. He's doing such a great job. Just hate him. Yeah, yeah. It's like I love to hate this character. Yeah, awesome character, building up a bad guy. But there's that moment he's in the throne, and he says something to the king that he shouldn't. And the three guards, I was just really impressed. The three guards step, but their swords are halfway unsheathed, not just a little bit like you see in some of them, just slightly, just whoosh, and they're there. And I was just like, I know that I don't care how good you are at fighting, you're dead. Like you step anything, you say anything further. I believed in that moment your head was coming off. Like,
well, and speaking of the throne room, in Game of Thrones, okay, first we see it, we see the Iron Throne, and we see, the court there. It's much different than it was previous. All of those swords and the weaponry that's just lining going up to the throne, I mean, that is so menacing.
Yeah.
I love that, it screams power.
Yeah.
But it's not a happy power. I mean, this is
the burden. It's a burden having this throne. That's what I get from it. It costs. Just the fact that the king had a nick on his finger with blood. It was so the symbolism of that while sitting on the Iron Throne. I was just like, nobody should want to.
Too.
Which makes me love the one thing that the dragons did at the season 8 was burning that. I thought that was very symbolic. So we know where that's going to end up.
Yeah.
Talking about dragons, how cool are dragons?
Dude, I was impressed. Like, I wasn't sure how well the CGI was going to be done, just because of late across the board, not in any one particular series.
Budgeting, it's a new series. We don't know how much faith did HBO, and we know what HBO. We're going to talk about HBO later, but we know what HBO are going through, so that's in the back of your mind.
Yeah, but I thought it was really well done. I mean, they delivered, which I think was great. And this was, sometimes we talk about event TV and why, weekly releases versus binge watching, and this is the event TV. I mean, this is the thing where everybody, was logging in right at the time, you at 2 a.m. Your time, which sucks for you. But just to, I don't know, the whole presentation, just everything about it. I was blown away, though, by the gore. Like, not in a bad way. I was just surprised, especially during the jousting scene, because in my head, I know it's brutal. It's not about that. It's in my head, though, I picture like A Knight's Tale. Where it's just friendly competition. They, whoever wins the jousting, yay, I win it, and on you go. This, holy crap. Yeah. I mean, there were some things where I was like, oh, dude, this is, they're not messing around.
Face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just leave chunks. And that kid, it was so good. That kid chucking up, I thought that's so real, because they'd not seen this like this. And so you go, yeah, it is great.
Yeah, well, and the intensity of that scene too, and just the high energy. I don't know if you noticed it, but when as they round to do the second round of jousting, I mean, they're not slowing down. It's not this like, okay, now we reset, we get everybody ready. No, it's grabbing the lance and just going. And at one point, Matt Smith's Damon, he's going so fast around that right when he grabs his lance from his squire or whatever, the horse hits him. and knocks the dude off. I mean, it just shows it how, forceful and how quick and how rushed this is. And it was like, that just amps up the energy of the scene, which made it all the more exciting.
All the more brutal as well, because they were intersplicing it or intercutting it with the birth, which was so brutal. Yeah. So you're having the joust, which is brutal, then you're having the birth, which is brutal, and the representation of what that means for the kingdom having a birth, and then that all be for nothing because the result, and then the word that comes a little bit later that everybody just loves.
That everybody was waiting for, too. We're all just like, say it. Say
the word. Do it.
Oh, it was good.
What's the word? What's the word, Chris?
Dracarys. Except she pronounced it a little differently than that,
Dracarys,
but that's okay.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that was good. It was a great start. I'm very excited to see where it goes. Mm-hmm. Like almost everybody else watching it week to week, and so it's.
I mean, they've got faith in it. I know we're not doing news now, but it's been renewed for season 2. So
that's great.
It's like, okay, we got 20 million views off episode 1. Cool. There's still a crowd here for this.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right that I don't think that there is an actual book for this. I know Martin is he's involved, because these are his characters, these are his world, but I don't believe there's actual source material that the writers are going off of. So, kudos to them for delivering something, at least at the outset, that feels rich, that feels like it has some really good depth to it, and is setting up future events. Obviously, we're going to have to see how it's executed because we had 6 episodes of awesome, 6 seasons of awesome, 1 season of this isn't too bad, and then 1 season of wow, what the crap are you doing? You're just rushing everything, and so we, in that last season didn't have source material. So
I do have one personal gripe about the episode, and that was one particular costume. Do you remember Pitch Black 2? The one
Vin Diesel?
With Vin Diesel?
I only saw the first one. I didn't see the second one. Not the second one, no.
Okay. There are these, maybe you can put it in the edit. There are these bad guys in Pitch Black 2. I'm just going to pull it up now because it'll make sense when you see it. Pitch Black 2. The Chronicles of Riddick. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to... Oh, yeah. So there is this suit of armor that they all wear. The marshals, the necromongers is what they're called.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see what they look like. Necromongers, Pitch Black.
Is it okay?
Images.
Monger.
And all I saw when I saw Matt Smith in his full gear was the necromongers. And I was like, come on. That's so similar.
Oh. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Anyway, I was just like, who designed this? It was such a weird... And I have seen people online talking about how the costume design with the horse design was so weird because in jousting for real, they don't come off like that. They're kind of built into the seat. It's much harder. So they did like the authenticity of that. I did want to reply. It was like, well, this is not a planet, so we don't know how they do it there. This isn't Earth.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is fantasy.
There's dragons, right?
So yeah. I mean, and how do you know? Like, even say it is Earth, even say it is accurate. What year is it? And what? I'm sure there is a year to it. I know we're 170 something, before Daenerys, but
I don't think it's weird because the map in Game of Thrones is all different. So
yeah, that's a weird complaint. I mean, really, you get stuck on that. That's
I can't believe that the horse side is inaccurate, Chris.
Well, when you have a complaint about the realism of something within a fantasy series, That's the
magic needs
they've
to be
already
real,
told
Chris.
you that.
Prove that it's real.
Fair enough. Yep. Well, on to go with that. Okay.
Anyway, necromonger suits for Matt Smith. I thought it was pretty funny.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I will find some imagery and put that in
Yeah.
so everybody else can see what we're talking about.
I also can't believe you haven't seen that. I don't understand. You're thinking.
I don't know. You know, Pitch Black, the original one, came out right. I had just gotten like a proper surround sound system at one point, and I watched that at night. Dude, that was so, as the bug things, I don't remember what they were, but the noises as it would go behind you and stuff. Oh, it was awesome to listen to as I was watching that, because it was just like whoop.
When we're driving, it's one of the lines in the film that I quote to my wife all the time, especially when it's a near miss. I was like, oh, that guy came out of nowhere. And I go, she goes, I thought it was clear. Well, how's it look now? I was like, it looks clear. Because Vin Diesel's doing the same thing. He's coming over the hill. The other guy is saying to him, how's it look? It looks clear. And he goes forward and he's like, I thought you said it was clear. How's it look now? Looks clear. Yeah, man. Yeah. A little story there for you.
There you go. Nice. All right. So what else is on your list?
Yeah. the only thing that I have to talk about that isn't Game of Thrones is Ludik, a South African series. Now, you reminded me of this. Was it last night? Anyway, I started watching last night, and then I started watching the rest this morning. There are only 6 episodes. It's the first South African Netflix Afrikaans TV series. It has the main guy from... Well, the main guy is the bad guy from The Mummy.
Oh, yeah, Arnold Vosloo.
Vosloo, who is Afrikaans. I'm just going to pull this up properly.
He was in another South African film earlier this year, Silverton Siege.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That wasn't great, but
this.
Well. Okay, so to save a kidnapped family member, an enterprising furniture tycoon must use his secret diamond smuggling operation to transport guns across the border. Okay, so my comparison in my review was I was comparing this as best as I could to the Ozarks.
Oh,
it's not as good because I hold the Ozarks like up here. That for me is like 5 Nicolas Cages out of 5, but this got a 4, so it gives you a level of comparison of how much I enjoyed this. However, before I get into what I loved about this, here's a really funny and disturbing bit of news for you about this series. Okay, so my favorite actor in this film, who steals the show from what did I just say his name was? Vosloo. Yeah, Arnold Vosloo. There's a guy named Rob van Vuren, who plays the brother-in-law. The character is Svees de Villiers. This guy, man, he kicked it out of the park. He is fantastic. Like, seriously, every scene he's brilliant. And I hate to say that because he is my wife's ex-boyfriend.
What? No, shut up. Seriously?
Because she was in the filming industry in Cape Town way back when. You know, we've been married over 20 years now. And I was like, hey, I bet you there's some people from the film industry you know. And she walked in and she's like, that's my ex. I was like, I hate this show. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Let's turn it off now.
But to be fair, we had a long conversation about it. You know, we were very different people back then.
Sure.
And this dude, he's done so well for himself. And I cannot take away his performance in this series from him as much as I would like to. And I wouldn't like to. Yeah, that's another lifetime ago. I'm being a little bit facetious and petty. Dude,
well, you won.
Ass. I did.
You got the girl.
I got the girl, so
yeah, so there
it's
you
all
go.
good. Yeah. But I just thought that was so weird. Like, the world suddenly gets small when you have a direct link to the thing, the person that you're watching.
That is so. I love that. I love that little tie-in there.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Oh, right.
Anyway, the series is good.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
watch it.
Yeah. So tell me what. Okay, so well, tell me why it's good though. Why should I watch it? Because it has been on my list, but I got to tell you, with the week that I've had, I need a compelling reason.
Yeah. Okay. 6 episodes for one, so not long to get through, but 45-minute episodes, so still decent amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there's 2 timelines. There's one in 1979 where it starts out and you watch our protagonist Vislu as a kid, and you watch how he was brought up by his father, who is a pastor. But coming from that culture, and I know because I grew up this, my dad's a pastor, like I lived this life. Mm-hmm. The strictness of it, like talk about getting hidings. The man of the house is the dad, and what he says, his word is law. And if you disobey him in any way, like whether that's at the table or how you eat, what you do, your homework, you get hidings. Like, I don't know if hidings were a thing when you were growing up, Chris. Like I talk about hiding, you get beat on the butt with like a
spankings.
Spankings, yeah. No, but these were hidings, not spankings, not like wooden spoon stuff. We're talking canes and like proper hidings. I would leave bruises on your butt.
So you went into hiding.
Yeah.
When it was coming. Yeah, okay.
At my school, kids got used because in South Africa, corporal punishment was normal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
You got that all the time. And
yikes.
The kids used to put like padded newspaper bits in their underwear. So, because they just knew, like, I'm an older kid, or I haven't done my homework, so I'm going to get a hiding at some point today. Some of our teachers used to line us up outside of our classrooms and just hit us, just in case we were going to be naughty. Just in case
just
you're thinking of.
Yeah. I see that look in your eye. Yeah. Come here, you're getting a beating.
Yeah. True story.
Wow.
I once bribed a teacher with a bar one, which is the equivalent like a Mars bar. Because I'd forgotten a ruler in my technical drawing practice and I was going to get a hiding for it. So I bribed him not to get a hiding with my Mars bar. Because they hurt, man.
There is so much to unpack in this about
So what I'm saying is the culture, they knocked it out of the park. Like they got it down to the T. So by the time you hit future or our present now, you understand the douchebag that dad has become. And so in reflectiveness, he rules by law, by money, which to him is power because of a loved one dying in the past, and the only thing that brought him stability and comfort or like what's going to protect me, it's not my dad who just, he just shouts at me and gives me hidings, and the way he treats me is not loving in any way. So what do I love? I love money and I love power. Having money gives me power. And so he grows up with that. And he's a little entrepreneur kid, and he builds this empire. And so we keep going back between the 2 timelines, and we're doing that, and it just builds. But of course, with what power you have, there's always going to be people that want to take that away from you. And they make wrong decisions. People don't communicate. It's classic Ozarks family getting themselves into trouble. The brother-in-law, Kirsten's ex, he is an alcoholic because of stuff that's happened in the past. And that's never going to get old. And they want to look out for each other, but what they go through, there's gunfights, brutal scenes, torture. It's like Ozarks, but South Africa, Afrikaans set in Pretoria. And I think it has a nice air to it because I guess it's kind of world cinema for most people. There'll be unknown actors in there, so it'll be fresh. I quite like that when I see new actors that I kind of don't know. I knew a few of them, but there were lots of like, that's cool. Amazing African... I wouldn't know what nationality of African there's. I'm not even going to try like Sutu, Southern Sutu, Zulu. I'm not. But the really great performances all round. I just thought it was really good. There was some dialogue scenes that felt a bit cringy and unnecessary, or delivered in a way that I just like, I don't think that quite worked. But that again might be culture specific that I wasn't getting. So I can imagine what other people might be like, I don't understand that. Yeah.
Are the timelines when it flashes back and forth? Is it easy to follow? I mean, does it make sense?
Yeah, because the family's all older. Like it's from 1979 to now. So you notice the like technology, the cars. Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, if I say to you 30 years ago and you think 1970s, but that's actually 1999, how does that blow your mind, Chris?
Dude, stop. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Is this a limited series, or is it? Does it feel like it has more legs?
It feels like they got much more, because they don't wrap up everything. It wraps up a story, but there's more to unfold. Yeah.
So is that like a satisfying way for the season to end, that you get some resolution?
I think so. There is resolution that. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's definitely a part of the story for a character that I came to really appreciate, that I want to know what's happened to that character, which they don't resolve. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, then I will watch it. That'll be good. Yay.
Bring back corporal punishment. Yeah.
Dude, that just maybe for some people, For
Joffrey. He needed a good hiding.
Oh, he much earlier on in that show. Golly, what a great villain! Even though he's a kid.
Good. Yeah,
you almost feel bad for the actor, because you like
people in the streets
early.
Like, Jeffrey.
Yeah, well, so early on in his career, like he's been tainted. You know what I mean? Like we don't really have anything else to compare him to. Like, I mean, think about this
Malfoy,
tangent. I know, but
from Harry Potter.
That's exactly who I was thinking of.
I knew it.
Like when I saw him in was it Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah,
it took a few moments to be like,
no, you're a bad guy.
You know what? You are a bad guy, but I'm liking you in this now, and you're doing some good things here, and it just, even though you're bad things also, it was anyway. Yeah, it was just yeah. Wow. Okay. So last night, ready to move on? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So last night, at least of this recording, I took my two sons, and we went and saw Rogue One at IMAX.
I'm sorry.
And dude, okay, so it's been like forever and a day since I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
And so the presentation, this is much faster paced than I remember it being, the movie as a whole.
Mm-hmm. I need to go watch it again.
Is like I was, as I'm paying attention, I'm like, there's pieces of it that I remembered as I was watching it, but I didn't remember the whole thing overall, and I certainly didn't remember the swiftness of the storytelling and how the scenes were built, and so that we were, you build, boom, boom, do something, and then we're moving over to here to do something that's, fast again. Not feeling rushed, just feeling an energy to it and an urgency to what's going on. Like I had a blast with it. Like it was great to watch again. I mean, Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic is just so good. Yeah, we got to see also a sneak peek of Andor.
I wondered about that.
So they did, when I say sneak peek, we get an extended scene from within the series. And there was also, before that, there was Diego Luna and the director of the series talking some about just the production and everything. And it was really cool. So it's happening. They were talking about, they have like these, we go back a bunch of years. So we get to see Andor from like when he's 6 years old.
Oh, interesting.
And then how it builds to where he's at and where we meet him in Rogue One. And there is a line in Rogue One where he's yelling at Jen, and they're going back and forth because she's kind of throwing a tantrum or whatever. And he was like, you're not the only one who has suffered or whatever. And I've been on my own since I was 6. And that harkens right to where the series is. And so that scene, that looks really great. I'm really excited for it. But Rogue One, it is a different feel than your original trilogy of the movies. The original trilogy, I mean, it's slower, it's more patient, it's building, and it's not necessarily fair to compare them side by side because there's 40 years apart between them, 30 years apart between those two. So, things have changed, storytelling has changed. I love the brutality that we see of Vader at the end and how menacing he is. I mean, it's that scene on the ship where it's just dark and you hear and then and the red just lights up the room and there he is illuminated. And
I have an issue with that scene though.
Why?
Because it makes Vader so powerful and so great, and it's an awesome scene, that all other Vader scenes from previous movies makes him just look gimmicky, because it doesn't use the Force like that in any of the movies. So I'm like, why didn't we get to see him do that? But that's because they have the technology now to be able to do that.
Yeah. We were actually talking about this as we were leaving last night, because you figure you have the starting point of Vader. The series is really just being written from Lucas's, thing. So we're getting this first iteration of him. But think of how menacing and scary Vader is with his minimalism in A New Hope. You know what I mean? Because he has this air and this presence to him as he comes in. I mean, you watch all of the Imperial soldiers, higher ups, everybody, they're on edge. I mean, they are fearful of this dude. And then, when somebody misspeaks, it's like, and that, so I like that. And we just, it's different, obviously. We see him much more animated in Rogue One.
It's a badass scene. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I can see that. I can see how they don't necessarily line up with Vader of that to what we then see Vader, the swiftness and the quick moving and everything.
Did the android get the same amount of laughs? Because when I was in the cinema, I remember people loving that character just because of his dry banter. Yeah.
K2SO and Alan Tudyk. Yeah. We laughed. Yeah, I found myself laughing. And I think also because it has been a while, so it's not fresh in my mind. So these weren't like, but the delivery, I think, really works.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it just the human element thrown in to this robot. When they go to where Forrest Whitaker's place is, and the robot sneaks up on Jyn and Andor before they have gone anywhere, and she hands him his bag, and he just drops it. He's just, it's these little things, this snarky and sarcasm that comes across that really just, I think it personifies the guy. It humanizes the robot to give him now. So when things happen at the end, while it's just a robot, there's a little bit of an emotional connection there. Like I
think that's something that Alan Tudyk brings to the screen. Whenever you watch him, he's able to bring an emotion with his voice, an animated person. You've seen him in Firefly. There's this little scene with him playing with the dinosaurs on the ship of Serenity. And he's like, "Grr, oh no." And he's meant to be piloting the ship. And it just makes him so human. It's so funny. But at the same time, we've seen him in there's a new series, a sci-fi series, where he gets makeup on the Visitor.
Is that Resident Alien?
Yeah, Resident Alien. He's brilliant in that, and the prosthetic makeups is amazing. But again, creating this alien character that is totally alien, but also humanizing. This alien's meant to try and destroy us or something. That's the premise. He's come to whatever, and him trying to be human or learning what it means to be human reminded me of his character from the robot K2SO.
Yeah.
So I was wondering whether that kept the humanity in that as well. But then we have my other favorite character, who is one of the greatest martial arts in our generation, the blind character who's basically a Jedi Knight. Still great.
I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
That line is so good.
dude. That is, I mean, and even his funny moment where they're going to see Forrest Whitaker and they put them back. Seriously, I'm blind. Just
so good.
No, oh my gosh. Well, and when he walks with determination once they're on the final planet there,
yeah,
you know, where he's walking to turn on the transmitter. Whoa, just the determined walk, everything, the carnage is happening around him, you know, it's flying by. But yeah, the martial arts scenes where when we first see him fight with all the stormtroopers on the one moon, and then the second time where on the planet where he's just there and he's just, you know, he can hear everything and the Force is talking to him.
We're going to talk about, in our Patreon, we're going to talk about 5 perfect movies. And basically what that means is things we would never want to change in a movie. And Rogue One, for me, with him, if I was going to change or something, I would want to make him a Jedi and give him a lightsaber in that scene so that he can live, even if he is injured, because his character is amazing, damn it. I want him to be a Jedi Knight.
But you saw the end of Rogue One, right? I mean...
Everybody dies? I saw that in A New Hope, I think. We all know how this is ending, Chris. Why does this movie exist?
Yes, no, but it's so great leading up to it too. I think that's what a good. I mean, it's can't even speak. No, drama and action. I was going to say dramatic action, but
drama.
It's just
okay.
Drama. Thank you. I'm captivated by the characters. You know,
the characters are what make it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it has a swiftness to it, even though it's a fairly long movie. I think it's it's a little over 2 hours long.
It is,
and I was not bored at all. I mean, I was just.
I mean, my argument is a joke that why does it exist? Because we know the ending. We could say that about so many movies that are awesome. Titanic is, you know, one of the highest grossing films of all time. We knew that it was going to sink. The only thing I would change with that is, God damn it, Rose, why won't you share the damn plank? Come on.
Was big enough. Wait, and I mean, come on, spoiler alert. You told everybody that the ship sinks. What the crap, dude?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'll change history now.
Yes. Oh. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we know where this is going. And yet I think maybe that speaks to even more of the powerfulness of the story or how great it is, because it can be so engaging, and we can be, even though we know we're going to this, but it gives them, we're going to this destruction, but it gives everybody a heroic moment. There's several heroic moments. I mean, we have Riz Ahmed, who has heroic moment.
He's so great.
We have Donnie Chen, who has heroic moment. I mean, all of these, it's just...
When it originally came out, I massively pissed off Star Wars fans by doing 2 reviews for it. I did top 5 reasons why Rogue One is the best Star Wars film, and then top 5 reasons why Rogue One is the worst Star Wars film, and just gave it a juxtaposition, because that's how I felt. Like, I really enjoyed this, but why?
I think that's fair. That's.
But IMAX must have been amazing with this, the aspect ratio, with the surround sound, because it's what it's built for. Like, sound is a big part of Star Wars. Just the pew pews and the flying of the various X-wings and the ships and the Star Destroyers, Vader's lightsaber, and the Force sound effect as well, because in that scene it's so, like, you can feel the vibration of Vader's Force, right? It's like, it's,
yeah. No, it was. You're right. The presentation was awesome. Also, as when the Death Star is used, I mean, to watch the destruction coming at you, just huge on the screen. It was a lot of fun. So
nice. Okay, to move on.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have any more TV series or movies, but I am going to talk about a couple of games quickly, because I figured, we do entertainment. I haven't talked about a game, and maybe let's cover some of the peeps that we're not kind of bringing in. I am a gamer when I have time to game. Yeah. I think I told you about this one, the that I was looking forward to, mostly because it's a movie that you get to be one of the characters in. And it also has couch co-op. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm interested in playing with a partner and seeing how you make those. I don't know how that quite works, but it's called The Quarry. It's the first time I actually, I know it's been out for a little bit, but I finally got around to playing it. It has fairly good reviews, but it's the cast that will kind of blow your mind. The synopsis is, when the sun goes down on the last night of summer camp, 9 teenage counselors are plunged into an unpredictable night of horror. Now, in juxtaposition, Chris, of the film that we just watched recently, The Invitation, which is also like a night of horror, and things we see coming. This one plays on the, do I know what the monster is? And then when you do, it still changes up the lore enough for you to go, oh, that's weird. Because it's a creature feature, basically. Okay. And you spend 10 to 12 hours making decisions that will ultimately either save all the characters that you go on in the camp in the woods. You are camp counselors, and you're basically there at the end of the camp. That's where kind of your adventure starts, except for a sort of prequel storyline. And you should have left. And there's a reason why you should have left, because on that specific day is a full moon. So you can guess what creature I'm talking about. And so they build into the lore. So every decision you make is ultimately affecting whether one of the characters that you are interacting with will survive. The cast: Skylar Gisondo, Siobhan Williams, Ted Raimi. Oh my gosh, Ted Raimi is so good in this. He's a kind of a douchebag sheriff, but so believable. Like, I totally believe in another life. David Arquette, Lance Henriksen. So he's fantastic. Really? Yeah. Wow. Ethan Suplee, fantastic. Big guy doing this. Yeah. A number of others that you will recognize as soon as you like, oh, that's that person from. Halston Sage. If you see the face, you know the person.
Okay. Halston Sage. Let me look him up.
Her.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, so it's not a name, but you'll recognize her. Yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was such a ride. Okay. The thing about it is, you get to the end, and I did cheat a little bit because I wanted to save my characters. So I looked up moments of like it's not a playthrough guide. You choose your own things, but certain decisions or things that you need to have happen in order for the people to survive. And so I did that, and I managed to save most of them. Once you finish the game, you get to unlock a thing called Death something. I can't remember the exact name, but you get 3 chances to save a character that perhaps died, and that could change all your decision making further. So you go back to a previous chapter. I think there are 10 chapters in the game. It's like a movie, like I mentioned. The thing is, there are, I think, let me get this right before people get upset because I don't get the number wrong. The Quarry. How many endings? Let's ask Google. 186 different scenario endings. So talk about replayability and how many things you can do wrong or right, depending if you want to kill everybody off.
That's crazy. Well, and what is that? So it made me think, when you had told me about this week, it made me think of, there's a video game with a nuclear holocaust. There's a boy on the for the logo. Do you know what I'm talking about? The game?
No, sorry.
Fallout.
Oh, Fallout. Yeah.
Fallout. Okay. I think you have to. Is that the one where you have to make decisions also?
Yeah.
And so it made me think of like, well, gosh, you choose to be bad in this one, and then what kind of ending, or how do you get 180 something endings within this? I mean, golly, could you go through the game that many times, and would you want to?
I don't know. It depends on how, like, if you're a collector and you want to get that one achievement, maybe.
Yeah.
A friend of mine
Okay.
named Keith, he's a collector, and he likes to get 100% on all the games he plays. It sometimes becomes like an OCD thing. You know, you don't have that one
Sure.
thing, and it's not, you got to get it. I've only gone back once, and that's enough for me. Like, I don't need to have all the endings. I like that it's there.
Well, that's a lot of endings. And my kids play with some of their friends. They're playing backlog golf.
Okay.
So it's, you know, where you have, if you buy a new game, it adds to your score, and the only way to reduce your score is to complete a game. And so it's a kind of a challenge for them, so that they don't always just buy new games and then never play them or never finish them.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good thing. It helps you finish it. Yeah.
And so they, but they they'll go through and 100%ing different ones and stuff. And one of them last year, as they were getting towards the end of the year, one of their friends was only like at -3 or something like that. So he had completed 3 games.
Right.
But what they didn't know, and so my sons were like, okay. You know, one was at like -17 or something. He's like feeling pretty confident. Well, what the friend was doing, though, is like getting to like 98, 99% of all of the games.
Yeah.
He was sandbagging. And then he went at the end, and he went and finished all of them. And so he all of a sudden just surpassed them. And they didn't have any chance to catch up at that point.
Wow.
I was like, that's dirty. But I applaud you for that. That's creative. So, oh man.
The final game I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
is part of a franchise that's been coming. It's literally just come out. It's called Saints Row. Now, this one's interesting. I spoke to you a little bit about it, but it's not had a very good user score. The new game user score. It's like very low, 2.9 on the user score on Metacritic. But the critics give it a 63. So 2.9 is out of 10 for the user score, and 63 is 63%. Yeah, so that's low for users. And part of the reason why is it has loads of glitches, and it is quite clunky. The fighting feels a bit clunky. The movements feel clunky. However, I've seen a lot of people say, where's the fun? And for me, this is classic Saints Row. I played all of the previous other games. There's the dialogue, the quirky humor. I love the story, and it's not a thing I normally say about Saints Row, although there is fun in the story. It's normally a half-an-hour binge game that I play. I'll stick on, if I'm in a bad mood, I'll play Saints Row for a bit, and it'll just crack me up and fill me with joy, because you can just go decimate everything, explode everything in wonderful colors. You have a dubstep gun, a dildo weapon. You know, it's crazy. It is just messed up. So if you want a world that is just crazy, normally you will just have that sort of fun. Here, however, we have the story of 4, I want to say they're 4 students from finishing university, and they have huge student loans. They all have their own kind of gangs and walks of life that they're a part of, but they need to pay their student loans. So they're doing dodgy stuff, which is like the whole game is doing dodgy stuff, really, to make ends meet, until it becomes that they're going to form their own gang, because what is family to them? They care more about each other, the 4 of them living together, than the subsequent gangs that have kind of gone off on the wayside and don't necessarily represent what they believe in anymore. So they form up this unit. Part of what I love about this game is the customization. Crazy customization. You can customize everything from your personal look. So I made my character look like me, slightly less weighty, but quite believable. Like, I didn't make him like buff. He's got a bit of weight on him. He's still wearing like jeans. He's got long hair and glasses. Although at the moment I've got some really cool makeup on, because it's like Day of the Dead. Love that. Really fun. Oh, nice. Vibrant colors. Wicked motorbikes. Everything from your guns can be colorized to like how you want. I've got like Star Spangled Banger stars, like the flag on my gun, and the eagle to make it really American, because guns in America, right? You see what I'm doing there? America! And then I'm making my character just look absolutely insane with makeup and his shoes with the most colors you can get. And then you just go out and do crazy things, from I was going to say skydiving, but not that. Wingsuiting, from wingsuiting from like quite low down to landing on a car to hijacking a car just after you've wingsuit. This is all totally believable and real, Chris. And
Nice. Love it.
and then you do like backflips in your car, escape, steal somebody else's truck, decimate that one street, which is automatically fixed the next time you load in. You know, it's all good. There's somebody like Tony Stark's company will come along and fix all the devastation, right? Because obviously needed. I had a blast. That's with 3 game crashes. Like I had 2 load ups where I was building my character and the customization just crashed. I had one when I was in a main mission and I suddenly couldn't shoot or punch. So here I have an army of bad guys and I'm like rolling left and right. And I'm like, what do I do?
You speed run. There you go.
Exactly. But it's mayhem and color in the best way possible. Yeah.
Is it what platforms is it on?
All of them, I think. Like PS4, PS5, Xbox. That's all of them to me.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Very fun. Right on. Well, that's cool. I showed my sons the old infomercial of Saints Row.
Gats Out of Hell?
Yes. Dude, that made me laugh. And then when I showed it to them, and they're both watching it on YouTube separately, and I hear laughter from each other. They're like, this is great.
Oh no, I'm gonna come back and be like, Ruben, what did you get my kids into?
Yeah, no, it was they're adults. It's funny, so it's great. Fine. It was cool. Yeah. Oh man. I have one that I can kind of talk to, or can talk about, one final one. Talk briefly on it, I guess.
Okay, cool.
It was decent, which after the week of poo, I don't know if that's just because I was just like so tired of having bad things, but I was entertained in this movie.
Okay.
It came out on Netflix on Friday, and it's called, almost said Rogue One. It's called Seoul Vibe. So it's South Korean kind of heist movie meets Fast and the Furious, Speed Racer,
best drifter in the game.
Yeah, exactly. It takes place in '88, so I love the aesthetics that was going on. I mean, the music was wonderful because we had a lot of Run DMC in there, and some other, some hip hop, and then it moved into a little bit of some pop and stuff. So that was great. The clothing. I mean, they're hyping up Air Jordans. We've got a lot of Vans, acid wash jeans. I mean, it was just, crazy. The bucket hats, big gold chains. I mean, it was a lot of fun that way from the visual presentation. The CGI is mostly terrible. There are some ridiculous moments within there, especially as the action ramps up, especially towards the end. Right. Where it was crazy at this point. And it just made me wonder, why didn't we get to this earlier? Why did you save this just for the end? And we could have had more of this throughout, because I think it would have made it even more entertaining.
Right.
The story itself it's okay, but our villains are just kind of, I mean, it is kind of uninteresting because it has political figures within the Korean government, South Korean government, are embezzling. There's corruption. They're money laundering, not monkey laundering like we had talked about last week, which also I think they should have included. So you have that. So government corruption is not typically that in entertaining or engaging, unless that's the entire focus of this. Because then you watch all the machinations that are happening between the parties and that scheming and stuff, and that can be very engaging. This, though, that was just the impetus for getting our characters involved, because they're hired by some prosecutors to go investigate them. They have sketchy pasts, so it's kind of like, hey, you do this, we wipe your pasts clean, you can get money, we'll give you a visa to go to America where you want to go. Everybody wins, we're good to go.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah. So there's some of the action and the driving is entertaining. I do wish they would have shown us more outside of the car, like to give us bigger scope of what's going on, because it's a lot of quick cuts. It's a lot of really up close. So while there is excitement that's built because of the constant scene changes and angle changes, it's not wholly exciting, like just investing in that, because we're not getting to see everything that's going in context. And I know I'm really selling this, but I think while it's a little long too, overall, it was great for a casual watch. I mean, it really was. It was, the characters are easy to like. Our main protagonists, this team of 5, like you want to root for them because they're goofy, they're well-meaning. So they're easy. The bad guys are, one, she could have been worse. Like she could have been more bad, more menacing. I mean, she wields power, and so there is a little bit of that fear that comes in because of her character, what she can do. But the other one is kind of like unhinged, and so I think he's really he's the one to watch. And I would have loved to let him like do more with him,
right?
But so it's on Netflix. If you needed something that's a little different, you want to have a little bit of fun, it's there. It works. Will I go back to it? No. But I didn't hate it when I left, and I had, I smiled through a lot of it, so that was fun.
Nice. I didn't get to finish it, but I love the nostalgia of the time. I love the characters. I love the beginning, actually. I wish the rest of the movie was actually set there. I thought the old desert, that bit was really, really fun. I thought that worked well. Introducing the characters that way was good. I may go back and finish it when, like, I have... when you're scrolling through Netflix, I'm like, I don't know what else to put on. Like, I haven't finished that. Do that. But yeah, for the most part, it's not something I will seek out.
Yeah.
I think we've come to the end of what we're going to watch, but we have a topic to talk about.
Yes.
Which I think ties nicely into everything that's going on in entertainment. So I'll let you start, if that's okay.
Yeah, totally. So this kind of came up, it bubbled up when Stranger Things was going on. Not so much with Kate Bush, but then the last 2 episodes that had come. And then it bubbled up again with when The Sandman came out. And you were on vacation a little bit, so we didn't really get a chance to dive into this topic. But it's the topic of gatekeeping. Yeah. And just where...
What do you mean by that? Because I know some people.
Exactly. Yes. To give you sort of a definition, it's where existing fans of something shame or prevent new people from coming into liking it, and so they like you don't qualify to like this. We've been fans longer, or you're not a real fan. You're a fake fan. Any of these types of things, and Metallica had come out because Eddie on the top of the trailer in Stranger Things, in the last 2 episodes, in the final episode, I mean he's rocking out to Master a Puppet.
So
and it was epic.
Love that.
And he's playing for real. Yeah. I mean he learned how to play it, and so that's
I didn't
even
know
better.
that. That's amazing. Okay, that's
cool. Like later on, he went to a Metallica show. They gave him an autographed guitar. I mean Anyway, it was really cool. And it's regardless of how you feel about Metallica, that's really, this is not the crux of it. It's not the specific band. But even like with Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, all of these new people are like, whoa, I like this song. Yeah. And so new people are coming in to listen to Metallica.
Okay.
Yeah, and Metallica's seeing all these comments of all these people who have been long-term Metallica fans saying, hey, that's not cool. You can't shame these people because they came from Stranger Things. You started out at some point. Yeah. You know what I mean? You haven't been following this from day one. You became a fan at some point. Don't throw shade at these people because this is where they picked it up, because this is where they first experienced it, or this is where they were like, ooh, I liked that. That gave me a great emotion. I'm going to go check them out. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, I've listened to 20 songs and I really like a lot of these. Now I'm a Metallica fan. I never would have even experienced that. So I liked Metallica's response to a lot of people of like, you need to stop. This is not cool, Neil Gaiman then, when The Sandman came out, because you have kind of the same situation
Absolutely.
here.
I've seen a lot of it on The Sandman. Yeah.
right. And you listened to the audio and you read the graphic novels or the comics. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you come from a way different perspective than I do. I hadn't seen, read, heard any of it. I was brand new to the series. And Neil Gaiman, he had put out actually a statement on Twitter and probably through his other social channels as well. But this is a quote from him. He says, "Nobody gets to gatekeep Sandman, not as a comic, not in the Audible adaptation, and definitely not on the TV. There's no entrance exam, nor should there be. Everyone is welcome." End quote. And so that, again, the creator having to come out and telling people, you don't own this. Stop shaming these people because this is where they first experienced it.
Your gatekeeping card is showing. Please tuck it away.
Yes, exactly. So, okay. This has farther reaching implications than just that. I mean, it's not just Metallica. It's not just the Sandman.
It's not a pandemic that's just started. It's been brewing for a while. It's just really rearing its ugly head now. We see it in all, especially franchises, but in everything that has been going on for a little while. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, you have a different opinion, people will roast you and destroy you and think they have the right to, which they don't. Let's just get that off, like, as a rule. Your opinion is yours. You have the right to your opinion. It doesn't mean that your opinion is right. Okay, so let's just sort that out first. In fact, you go back 10 years when people didn't have access as much to the internet, you could still state your opinion, but nobody heard about it, and the world was a better place. Does your opinion being on the internet mean the world is a better place? Also, maybe just learn one of those things that your mom and dad should have taught you, or if you don't, if you don't have mom and dads, maybe people around you. If you don't have anything nice to say, shut the hell up. I'm changing it.
The paraphrase there, the Ruben paraphrase.
Yeah, jog on. Because we are human. We all have good days and bad days. How about bringing people up instead of bringing people down? Stop being douchebags.
Well, and if we can, that's great. And I think that discussion too of the ability to disagree on something and be cordial,
right?
That is quickly becoming a lost art
on loads of things.
Dude,
more and more.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're still friends. What?
Yeah. What? Okay, and so Nostromo, one of our faithful viewers, so he loves to rib me about my feelings on Reacher and then the Terminal List.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
Okay. And you know what? Both of those on Amazon. I did not like either of those, and that's okay. I give in my reviews, which just like you do in your reviews, these are our opinions. They're educated opinions. We give reasoning for why we like something or we don't like something. That's okay. It's not, I have no financial gain in the success or the failure of a show or a movie. We're not investors in these things. Well, maybe you are. I'm not. But anyway, I have nothing to gain by that. But the fun that I have is when I can see people who disagree and they can state why. You know what I mean? It's like, because we have a dialogue now, and maybe you are able to point something out to me that I missed, or maybe even change the way because you disagree in a cordial way. We can have this, and you don't come into it, or I don't come into it and say, you're not allowed to watch this if you have not read 13 books prior to this to have all of the knowledge going into this. My knowledge of the MCU is the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I haven't read the comics. So these are canon to me. Whether or not they actually are and how it fits in the back lore when they were originally written, I don't care. I'm not reviewing these. I'm not going into it to see, is this comic accurate in this or not? I understand that, hey, you know what? You can like that. You can feel very passionate about something. And I think passion about a thing is absolutely great, because that's what drives these things. That's what drives our love for watching this entertainment, or books or music or relationships, any of that. The passion is what's there. But if you're tearing somebody else down because they like it, or that they are new to it and this is how they found it, that are you really a fan at that point? I mean, are you just threatened because somebody new is liking something that you do and you...
I think that's probably it. Like, you have some sort of ownership because you liked it first before them. Bullcrap. Why? Who gave you any ownership of that? Doesn't matter. You definitely weren't the first. I guarantee that.
Yeah. I think of, like, I went to... One of my favorite bands is Yellowcard. And I've seen them a number of times in concert. But I went to their farewell show because they retired for a while. Now they are coming back, which at least in a little bit, so yay. But I went to their final show. And their most popular album, their breakout album, Ocean Avenue. So most people know that, and there's several songs on there that people know. And so at their final show, it's funny because you see this groups of people who only liked that album. And nobody else in the crowd who knows all of the words to all of the other songs. You know, we're singing along to all of them. We know the B-sides, all of these things. We don't come up to those other people and they say, you only know Ocean Avenue, you need to leave. You don't qualify. You haven't hit the bar. Dude, you like the band that we like. This is awesome. You know, I mean, I don't know who you are, but hey, how did you find them? This is when you found them? You just discovered them? Rock on. Dude, we have something in common, or we're both here to celebrate.
I really don't understand the logic of not liking more people liking the thing that you like. Because surely that means it's becoming more popular and you'll get more of that thing. Because that generally means more productivity, more marketing, more money, means more series or shirts or music, whatever it is that you're liking. If more people are coming into it, the more popular it is, generally means more of it. It doesn't take anything away from you how much you enjoy that. It just means it's great. You're sharing in something. That's it, isn't it? Sharing.
Well, that's a great perspective. I hadn't even really thought about it in that way of wow, you're so upset that somebody else likes something that you do, that if more people and new people didn't come to it, the thing that you love is going to go away.
Right.
Because it's not sustainable. The company that owns it, regardless of the artist, they're not going to put it out. You know,
yep.
So how do we fix it?
I want to talk about Star Wars. Just as an example, the Last Jedi, very mixed response, heated discussions all around.
Yep.
But one particular made an actress leave Twitter, close her account, and want to commit suicide, almost take her own life because of the death threats she got because of how passionate a large majority of the fans were to her character in a movie that she was hired to perform.
And let's critically think about that too. You didn't like the character, so why are you taking it out on the actor? It was written, the character was written, the performance was directed, you know, so it's not like she just got up and said, well, this is what you get and that's all you're getting.
Like the massive hoo-ha about her kissing a certain character. Like, at what point do they think that was her decision to go and kiss that character? Like, do they really think that... I understand not the logic. Like, where are the brain cells? Seriously, do you think the movie that you're watching is real? Therefore, this is a documentary, and she went and did that, and now you're angry because they did something really horrible in life, not true to the character of how you wanted the character to act, because you wanted that other actor to be with another character. Seriously, people, get a grip. So talk about gatekeeping. It gets way worse. Like it gets so nasty that it
dangerous.
Makes dangerous. Talk about the guy that played Jar Jar Binks. I have always been on the side of Jar Jar. I love Jar Jar. Jar Jar's great. He's stupid. There's an argument to be made. He's a Sith master, I think, which I love. In some alternate universe, He's a
I
Sith
love that
master.
theory too.
But again, Star Wars fans, the amount of hate that he got, he seriously thought about taking his life. Like the comments are so vile and nasty.
I don't get that. I mean, I don't like the character of Jar Jar Binks.
No,
okay?
I know. Loads of people don't. Yeah.
Yep. Never in my wildest dreams would I think to shout hate at the actor or to go even worse than that. You know, that's so terrible. I still don't get, like, how do people not differentiate between what is a job and what is not? You're hired to act this role. So if you have issue with the character, take it up with George Lucas, who people seem to revere. But George Lucas greenlit that character and wrote it in, right? That's his baby, those prequels. Well, it is, but then guess what? He got so much hate for the movies that he was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Like, the fans that he made this for, that he wrote this for, obliterated him, and so he gave up. And then they complain about that.
Yeah, and yet now we have Ewan McGregor, who's talking about how there's been so much hate around Obi-Wan because of things wrong in Obi-Wan. Yet for some reason, the prequels are now in high regard. Like the zeitgeist of it is all changing. So there's a different audience that is now like, what are you talking about? I love those. I grew up with those. Those are my Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And so we really have to take a few steps back and look at it without your glazed goggles on. Look at it through a wider perspective of what this actually is, because you need to maybe kind of check yourself and go, hang on a minute. All right, it's a movie for one. It's fantasy, it's fiction. It's meant to be escapism and entertainment. Don't take it so seriously, for one. Let me talk about... before I carry on with that tangent, John Flickinger, who is a friend of John Stuckman, great reviewer.
Chris Stuckman,
John Stuckman, he tweeted out this week saying, the fact that you say you don't like She-Hulk in 2022 and it offends people is scary to me. I've noticed this odd connection between fictional things and reality that shouldn't exist. Everything is personal issue rather than just about movie or TV show. He hit the nail on the head there. Why is it so personal to you? You can really be passionate about something, but at the end of the day, it is still just a movie or TV series or a book or a band. It doesn't have to end your life or be about threatening somebody else's.
And really, the only people that should be taking it so personally are like the writers and the directors and the showrunners. You know what I mean? You made a bad song, Petey. I don't.
It's easy to go on tangents with this because it is upsetting, because I don't understand the human race in this particular moment for entertainment now.
No, and I think it's the internet is too easy of a spot to just spew whatever at the keyboard, because you can be anonymous, you can be faceless, you can be whatever, and it, you can hide behind something, and if people like something, say, I'm glad you like that. I didn't, but my happiness does not rest on you liking something or disliking something. You know what I mean? Like, if you disagree with me, that's okay. My family and I, the people that I love most, we don't agree on everything.
Doesn't mean you send them death threats.
No, and you know what? When my kids, my wife was way more on the music train than I was. I was like very repressed as a kid of what I could listen to and everything else. And so
me too.
She, when we got together, she's telling me, she's introducing me to all kinds of different music and new groups and everything, just widening my horizon, which I'm absolutely loving. And we then together, because then we grew, with our entire appreciation, because then I brought new stuff in and everything else. We then give that to our kids, and so that they then can experience things, and depending on their age or when we introduced them or when we found them, they find them also. But It would be like shaming your child who at 15 all of a sudden goes, wow, I just rewatched Star Wars. My whole perspective has changed. I really like it now. And me going, no. Your ship is passed.
Yeah, you don't get to do that. Yeah.
You weren't even born when it came out. You don't get to like this. How freaking stupid is that?
It's so dumb.
Yeah, hitting people with wet fishes, man. Slapping them left and right, I think, is what needs to happen.
Yeah, but you'll get banned on Twitter for saying that.
Well, yeah, this is true. Okay, so aside from slapping people with fishes, what do you think is how do we fix this? I mean, I know you and I are not going to fix this, but
I have a fix, but people won't like it and they won't agree to it, but I do have a fix. What two? Yeah. One, actually be kind and nice to each other. The kind of pay it forward morality, maybe being human is like all kind of ties into that one. The second thing is technology has grown so fast ahead of us monitoring it that all the companies that put things in places like your gun laws that are from like World War II. No, not even way back.
No, 17s.
17,
yeah, late 1700s.
Like changing things as technology progresses is a must. So, for example, every single person that types out a message should have their face on it above 18, so it's legal. If you want to put yourself out there and comment on somebody else's piece of creative work, then it should be a legal priority that somebody can reply to you. So then we get 90% of the keyboard warriors or the faceless people there. This is so-and-so, like your Facebook profile message, right? This is so-and-so who has said such and such a thing. Then the world can see who you are and what type of person you actually are instead of hiding behind a fake profile. So, you know, when you used to, way back when, you used to have to verify your age with a credit card, you know, kind of ID, that sort of thing. Yeah. There should be an individual online authority that governs who you are and you prove it that it is safe. And then when you log in and you're commenting on YouTube, there's your face. That's who you are. I'm not saying give your address. I'm just saying as long as you're over 18. I know people always say like, well, there's a black market and people get around that. Yeah, probably. But for the most part, it will kick back at least 50% of it.
Yeah, I would think it would make pause. Like it would give some people pause if your real name, if your real picture was there attached to your comment.
Because then your mom and dad can see, like, hey, I just found the so-and-so said this, such a thing. I don't mind that they disagree with me, but the fact that they're now swearing at me about it and telling me blah, 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 and so-and-so because I said I like this or I didn't like this, that's going to be out there for the world. So as long as it just, hang on, who's going to see this if I say this? The pause might make them rethink and go, yeah, I didn't quite agree with this, but, you know, each to their own, because entertainment is vastly what, Chris?
Well, it's subjective, first of all. I mean, good grief, yeah. Well, and I think that is good. I mean, anytime we can get a pause on something before we comment on something, I think that's always good. You know, it gives us a chance to really think through it. Some people that's how they think. But I think you hit it first. Be kind. You know, that if somebody likes something that you like, regardless of how they came to it or when they came to it, you should celebrate that.
Right.
Because that means that, like you said, the chances of you getting more of that thing that you like are greater the more people that like it.
But what if they don't like it? Because there's a lot of gatekeeping as well with, oh, you don't like it? Let me tell you why you're wrong. You know the whole argument with DC and Marvel. Oh, this is totally a Marvel person because they don't like this DC thing. Or this is totally a DC person because they don't like this movie. I'm gatekeeping it. Well, you're wrong anyway because DC is better than Marvel. I like both, guys, just so you know.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to it also, of just being kind, you know, and I don't get how your real life personality can be so wrapped up into something that is make believe, and more importantly, that you do not own.
It's not yours.
Yeah,
Unless you are
sort
a
of.
writer that has actual points from Disney or Marvel, and even then, if you're a writer, a director, an actor, you have no control. It's the companies and the CEOs that, even they, it's more like the shareholders that have some of the. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten comments before from writers of series, of cinematographers, of special effects people, whatever, and I've appreciated their comments back. It always makes me go, "Oh gosh, what did I say? Was I nice? Was I not?"
Yeah, I do that as well. Oh no, they do watch.
But but also though, I feel okay because I back up my opinions with backing. I give examples, or this is why this is, or this is why that is, but they're respectful. That's the thing, that, you know what I mean? They understand that it's like, well, hey, I'm sorry you didn't like that, or this is what we were going for, or oh wow, I could totally see this, or hey, thank you so much for really liking this. We were glad that you liked it. It's never coming back as this uber defensive, and they're the ones out of anybody that could be. You know what I mean? If I've said something was poo and they were the writer on it or something, I mean, ouch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the reasons why I try and be kind with my reviews, because even if I don't like it, you and I both have an understanding of what it takes to be creative and put your work out there.
Yeah.
And so if some random bearded person with gray hair on the internet is saying, well, you suck because your content is crap, I don't like your story. Again, going back, it's too subjective and entertainment. But you're breaking somebody's... You know how long it takes to put out a film? Even if it took 6 months to film, the writing process has probably started 5 years back. The idea for that probably started 7, 8 years back. And then bring it into fruition, a number of edits as an author. I know my book probably has gone through 10 edits now, the first one. I thought it was done on the 4th. I was naive. Yeah. Yeah, you don't know. Being kind is a big thing.
I think so. I think that's really the biggest thing. And celebrate when somebody finds the stuff that you like. You know what I mean? And then have a conversation about it. Dude, what do you think about this? Not when did you first learn about it, but what's your favorite of X? Or why do you like it so much?
Yeah.
How much better of a conversation is that? I think. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, enough. Yeah. we could go on about this for a long time. There's lots of avenues. It's unfortunate that it's everywhere at the moment. Everybody's gatekeeping everything. I personally think it's nonsense, and we should go back to corporal punishment and give everybody hidings. Just have, like in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, every time you have a nasty thought, a swatter comes out of the ground, just slaps the heck out of you. It's not a thought. It's just, it's a way to help humanity be kind. An alien entity that is made out of a billion fly swatters just comes out of the ground like a little portal. You're about to say something nasty on the internet, and whack. Yeah.
Zaphod, what do you think about this?
Syracuse, what was that?
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, thank you for sticking around with us. I'd love to hear your opinions on gatekeeping, and yeah, it is. This is a good discussion. So I mean, chime in. What do you think could help? What do you think could help? Yeah, might could happen. Yeah, what are ways that we can do better? And how can, I don't know, like suggestions, I guess, maybe, solutions, possible solutions. As long as we're thinking about it, as long as we're beginning to talk about this, that's where actual change can happen, because it's, more and more people begin to at least critically think about it, then something positive could come about. So let us know in the comments below. You can always tweet at us at Best We Watched. like, share, subscribe. Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday, me, Chris with Movies and Munchies. We have our Patreon with patreon.com/thebearded ones. This week, we're going to be talking about our 5 perfect films for us, what we believe are perfect films. So you can head over to that, see those opportunities, see if it's something you could do. With that, though, wait. Most important part, not most important part, and an important part. If you want more of this, we're talking about a lot of entertainment news and things that are coming up in the next week or so that we're looking forward to and why. You can head over to the extended audio edition of the podcast. It's linked in the description. Okay, now, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Take care.